Hello and welcome to High Caliber TV, your source for figure and model updates every Wednesday and Friday. So today on the workbench, I'm just going to be showing you the update and final product of the Tommy's War PPCLI Sergeant that I'm doing up for the IPMS Nationals, which is in fact going to be kicking off in 48 hours, I suppose, from right now. So I'm very excited about that. Be sure to check us out on Facebook for a lot of photographs and possibly some videos from that show. But right now I just want to talk a little bit about the base before I go on to the rest of the figure. So as you can see, this is a really simple base. I like to use simplicity whenever possible. So as you can see, this is just a solid block of styrene that I flipped this part of the base over, scored the styrene block, and then broke it out. Carved it up a little bit to create irregularities and make it look like it looks like it's earth that's being cut out, which makes it look a little bit more natural. The difference in tones on the base is from simple, really light airbrushing. As you can see here, sort of a sand tone, whereas down here it's a bit more olive drab. And then the brown splotches on the sort of the belt of the base are just really straight pigments that I applied with a brush. Hosed it down with flat, pinned and glued it to the base here. And as you can see, there's the markers where the figure will be standing and pinned. So here we go. This is the figure once the primary painting is finished. He's, of course, semi-gloss at the moment. I just hosed him down with a matte finish to, as I've said before, reduce the surface tension to allow oil washes to be applied. Once the oil washes are on, I'm going to wipe them off as I showed in the U-boat captain thing. It's the exact same process. I'm going to be using primarily the burnt umber with a little bit of ivory black to reduce the brown tone. And then it's on to pigments. I'm going to be applying, well, I haven't quite decided yet. He's depicted as being relatively clean, like he's just arrived at the front from Canada. So I'm a bit torn. Typically when I think of World War I soldiers, I think of them as being completely grimy, but this guy's obviously new to the theater. So he's probably just gonna have some dust up on his leggings, leg wraps, maybe some grime around some of his gear, but I think they kept themselves pretty well cleaned up, especially if he's an NCO. So yeah, one thing I really want to note is the brass for his buttons, the caps, blah blah blah. That's all done with Humbrol enamels. I swear by that stuff. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it looks the most like metal in paint form. It's a bit finicky, and you have to clean the brushes exceedingly well afterwards because the paint will adhere and destroy your brushes. So, yeah, it also takes a hell of a lot longer to dry than acrylics, but that's another thing. So yeah, stick around. I'll be showing the next phases. Thanks. So here he is, finished product, with a pretty thin coat of clear flat applied to seal all the goodness in. As you can see, he's grimed up a bit. I started at the base of the shoes, worked up with a couple of different kinds of pastels that I worked in together. Grimed up the backpack pretty well, like as if he had set it down while they were waiting for orders or whatever, and then he had to pick it up really quick. This is just sort of at the outset of the Canadian involvement in the war, so I didn't want him to look like he had been in the rain or on campaign for a particularly long time. As you may have noticed, he's not actually glued down. The utilitarian reason for that being that I'm only taking carry-on to Colorado, so I'm going to detach him, and then with another figure he's going to be riding in a box filled with packing, just loose ground up paper shards to cushion him. And I wanted to reduce his overall height. So as you can see, there's still glinting brass because I wanted him to look like, since as I mentioned, he's an NCO and he's got to maintain the regimental standard of cleanliness. Even on the campaign, he would at this point still be maintaining the glint on his brass on the uniform. I don't know, I'm pretty sure as they campaigned further and further into the war, they would start blacking these out with soot and things like that to help reduce their glint at night, etc. I really like how this guy turned out considering the time constraint I imposed on myself. Yeah. Please let me know what you think in the comments. And if any of you are going to be at the IPMS Nationals in Colorado this week, please say hello if you see me and show me what kits, figures, etc. you've put into the show. Or if you've got a booth, I'd love to have a chat, take some pictures, chat about kits, blah, blah, blah. That'd be nice. Follow us on Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter for Workbench updates like this and stock. And pretty soon there's going to be a metric ton of photos and possibly videos from the IPMS Nationals. So we'll see about that. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time.